Hi, I'm James Atherton with City for the Nations, and I am our Richmond Somerset City Director with our Niger partnership. I want to thank you for how you sponsor, pray for, and participate in this partnership. It was just over 3.5 years ago that we began by targeting all of the remaining 7 unengaged people groups in Niger with the goal of a self-sustaining indigenous disciple-making movement amongst all of those groups. While we continue to work towards that end, there are now over 14,000 believers in Niger. Many disciples are being made, churches are being planted. And through partners like Joshua Nations, Bible schools are being started. And through our partner Activate Global, micro and small businesses are beginning to happen so that our church planters can become self-funded and also increase in their ability and opportunities to be able to reach into the villages and people groups that they're targeting. Thank you for all that you're doing. In January of this year, we were able to go to Niger, travel outside the city of Agadez, and go to some of the villages that have been reached. It was amazing to hear their testimonies and their celebrations and see just some of all that God is doing there. But when we traveled, we had to travel with military escort because of insecurity in the nation. As 2022 has progressed, terrorist activity has simply increased around the borders of Niger. Groups like Boko Haram and ISIS are attacking from nations like Mali, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, and even Chad. They attack things like military outposts and even prisons. They've been attacking villages. Some of the home villages of church planters have begun to be attacked, and even the home village of our director Mokhtar was attacked, where his mother currently lives. Terrorists came and they took everything, all that they owned, all of their possessions, all of their food, all of their animals, of everyone in the entire village. These terrorists have put landmines and bombs along roads, and it has created a circumstance within Niger of great fear and insecurity. Refugees have fled from many nations and are fleeing throughout Niger. There's even been conflict that has arose between the people groups of Niger. There was a conflict that arose between the Arab groups like the Moor and the Baduma and the Tuareg people groups like our Timbuktu Tamajek. These are all people groups that we're targeting. But our church planters amongst the Timbuktu Tamajek were able to be strategic in going to leaders and negotiating a peace amongst that conflict. Thank you for how you pray and how God is now moving. We're praising Him for how He's taking these opportunities where great evil is occurring and helping the kingdom to further in the midst of this. As the work continues in Niger, there are many things to also celebrate. For example, in this picture here, this is a home group amongst the Arab Moor that I was just telling you about that's now meeting in a new location in the city of Agadez. And here is a new church amongst the Yara Kanuri people group that was just started 2 months ago. There are many more stories and examples of this, of how God's moving in amazing ways amongst these people groups. But as we continue this partnership, I want to ask you to pray specifically for the peace of Niger, and that God would continue to use these attacks and what's happening to further opportunities for the gospel and reaching out and making disciples amongst the unengaged and the unreached. Second, I want to ask you to pray for persons of peace. Now, these are specific people that our church planters reach, that God has chosen to now reach into their own people groups to further the gospel. Many of these persons of peace have come and have now been discipled for sometimes 2 and 3 years. They've risen up as leaders, and now they're very strategic in being able to reach their own people groups and even help with the other people groups. Pray for the persons of peace as they continue to do the work of the kingdom. Finally, pray for the multiplication of this work as we continue towards our goal of self-sustaining indigenous disciple-making movements amongst all of the people groups. Thank you, and God bless you.